So I heard a rumor that you are about to start teaching. Might be your first year or the first day of your second, third, fourth, or 20th year, who knows? You might be a struggling teacher, you might be a veteran, but you're here and I'm here for you. So let's get right into it. Let's talk about things that I wish I knew as a first year teacher. So my first year, it was just a lot of learning. I didn't have an education degree at that time. I went back and got my master's 2 years later. But when I first started, I didn't know much about lesson planning, grading, nothing, or scheduling, pacing. I just literally got thrown to the wolves, given a job I didn't necessarily want at the time. I just wanted to volunteer and help kids. But I started teaching, and it was cool. But it was long. It was a lot more hours than I thought about. I didn't know I had to lesson plan every single day. I didn't know how tedious grading would be. You gotta grade everything you give to a student. If you give them a drill, a classroom assignment, and a quiz, like a mini exit ticket type quiz every day, you gotta check those things. So finding systems to get those done. I didn't know anything about that. But the fact that I couldn't leave that job and literally leave that job, that was the newest and weirdest thing for me, because every other job, 5 o'clock, I'm off the clock, I'm good, I'm gone. Teaching, nope, 5 o'clock, not even 5 o'clock. That's the deception of teaching. You get off at 2:30, 3:30, and you're like, cool, I'm out. But no, you got grading to do, you got planning to do, you have a parent waiting for you for a parent conference. Their day doesn't end at the end of the day. That's something new that you'll have to get used to, but I'll say even all those things, they're difficult, but the hardest part is taking home that mental and emotional baggage that you'll get from the kids. They will tell you some things that will keep you up at night if you allow it to. They will tell you some scary things. They will tell you some crazy things. If you are immersing yourself into the community like you should be, you'll see some wild stuff that you never thought you would see. So prepare for that. Have ways to decompress. Have ways to kind of relax, relate, release. I hope I don't get sued for that. But you definitely have to find ways to release. You're gonna hear and see a lot of things that you never thought really happened in the real world outside of like TV shows. So I taught in Baltimore City Public Schools, and I have stories, and I've seen some things. But this is the reality for those students. This is the reality for the children you have chosen to educate. So it's your reality, but don't take it home with you. That's important. So the one thing I definitely wasn't prepared for was the mental baggage, the emotional baggage. I didn't even have a word for that back, 24 years ago when I started teaching. I didn't have a word for like needing to decompress and relax and not take home the problems of the students or the problems of the day or the fight I saw or the kid that didn't eat or the kid who smelled horribly because they didn't shower for, ever. Those things are gonna happen, but you gotta make sure you leave those things in a building or have a system that you can set up. That's what I wish I told myself, or I wish someone told me, or I wish someone would have told me what I was getting into, because I just wanted to help the kids and talk to the kids and mentor the kids and that cool stuff, but I ended up teaching, and I'm glad I made that decision. So there's 3 things I would say I wish I knew. One is have a personal recharge day or some time to decompress built into your schedule every day, maybe once a weekend where it's time away from anything and everything school related. Maybe it's time with the family, maybe it's a time away from the family. Depends on you. You know what recharges your battery, but you definitely want to be able to have that time and space to decompress. This is a marathon. It's definitely not a sprint. That's number 1. So always have a way to decompress and just release yourself from the duties of the school day. 2, I would say find a support community within your school building. It could be support staff, people who've been there for years. They might know the families better than the teachers and the principals. It could be your peer teachers. It could be your classroom assistants. It might be a greater school community, like if you're in one of the teaching programs, like Teach for America or Urban Teachers. Find someone who could support you. Find someone to talk to. Find someone who you can decompress with, or just strategize with, or just plan with, or just help you with whatever you're going through. Find some peers in your building, some adults who you can relate to, who know what you're going through, or who are going through the same thing. Use those conversations wisely. I don't suggest using those talks with other peers as gripe sessions, where you're just talking about kids and this student got on my nerves, this little girl said she gonna, don't do that. Use them as strategy meetings where you strategize, like, I'm having a problem with this kid, you're having a problem with this kid, maybe we could switch them for an hour during the day, see how that works. Of course, see what school policy allows, but it might be a strategy like that. I found that being a male teacher, some students don't respond well to male teachers. Some respond really well to females. Could be due to problems in their lives, or it could just be me. Who knows? Who cares? But you gotta find a strategy, and it's good to find peers so you're not feeling like you're all alone on an island by yourself, because you're not. That's why this channel's here, that's why I'm here, that's why your peers are there. A lot of people are willing to help you, but you have to be willing to ask for help. So that's number 2. Definitely find a peer support network or some type of support network. And third, here's the realest thing I could say in this video. Understand that perfection is not a requirement. And that might be hard to understand. You do not have to be perfect every single day. If you're perfect every single day, you're probably not trying to do anything great or outside the box or creative. If you're just being bland and boring, you might be pretty good at it, but I don't think that's gonna make a very effective teacher. So don't be afraid to make a mistake. Don't be afraid to fail. It happens. It happens. It means you're trying something new, or you're trying something that's not the easiest thing in the world, which teaching is. It's all about trying, because that's what you want the kids to do when it comes to learning new things. You're doing the same thing. You're learning new ways to communicate with these kids. You're learning new ways to teach, educate, connect. That's what you're doing. So it's important to be willing to try something. Be willing to not look or be perfect. Be willing to be real. Be willing to be authentic. These are the things that will make your year flow a lot better. Have some type of time or place where you can go to relax. 2, rely on your peers. And 3, be willing to try and be willing to fail. And be willing to accept that failure doesn't mean anything, because the next day is a new day. There's always a new day. That's the one thing I really like about PBIS system, the red, yellow, green card system. Every day the kids get to start on green again. They might have had a horrible day the day before, but today they're ready to go again. And you give them a fresh start and a fresh chance. You as well get that opportunity every single day. You can be a better and better and better version of yourself than you were the day before, or the week before, or the month before. And that's what we're in. So it's a marathon. You're gonna get better as it goes on. Don't give up. Just try your best to be the best version of you. And then you'll be good. Trust and believe it. So now let's pivot, building this community for the veteran teachers out there. What's one thing you wish you knew as a first-year teacher? What's one thing you wish someone would have told you, or what's something you would have told yourself? What's some advice that you know holds true now that you wish you knew before? And go ahead and share this with a new teacher, share this with someone struggling, or just share it with a friend who you think could use the knowledge of this video.